Hi, Trevor here with a how-to on how to change your engine oil and filter in a Mercedes 651 4-cylinder 2.1 liter diesel engine. So things you're going to need to do this service is preferably an OEM oil filter, part number right there, and a new copper crush washer. Tools you're going to need is a 74mm 14 flute oil filter socket, a 13mm socket or wrench, and a 3/8 ratchet. That's basically all the tools you need. Pocket screwdriver and or a pick tool. I usually just use my pocket screwdriver. If you're doing this on your own on the ground, you'll need an oil catch container. So first thing you're going to do, you'll want a flathead screwdriver if you want to move the airbox out of your way more. So go ahead, push the tab here on the bottom of the airbox and lift up on it, set it aside like that, and then same thing over here, release that, tabs right there. Go ahead and pull up on your airbox right here. That gets that up out of the way. Usually that'll end up popping the tube. Sometimes you gotta get a screwdriver and lift up right there. Take that elbow out and set it aside. That's where the screwdriver is used. Loosen your intake tube, pop that off, and this makes it to where you can just kind of like rotate the airbox out of the way. Alright, so now that you got the airbox out of the way like that, kind of set this to the side. Here's your oil filter. Take this fuel filter vent hose, kind of just tuck it up to the side. Grab your filter socket. You're gonna want an extension. Forgot to mention that. Get that socket on there. So get it to where it's like that. You can see the oil draining on the edge there into the filter housing. Let it sit like that for a minute. That way the filter can completely drain off and you don't have a mess when pulling it. Once it drains off a little bit, you can unscrew it all the way and then just, again, let it sit there. So go ahead and loosen your oil cap. And I'm gonna wait a second, pull the oil filter off, and then I'll raise the vehicle and show you the remaining part. Alright, so if you want to be a little bit quicker, you can take a rag like so, pull the filter out, and kind of catch any potential drips. I usually set it in the oil catch to drain off, but go ahead, remove the filter, and we'll get back to that part here in a minute. Now I'm going to raise the vehicle. Alright, now that I got it in the air, again, if you're doing this on the ground, just grab your catch container that's big enough to hold 12 quarts of oil. Get it placed under your oil pan like that. Grab your ratchet and your 13mm. Break it loose. Make sure the oil catch is over far enough to catch the oil. Like so, let it drain off. Clean off your drain plug. Grab your new crush washer. While the oil is draining, go ahead and remove the O-rings from your oil filter housing. You got your big one right here. This one has 3 total. So you got your middle-sized one right there, and your smaller sized one here on the end. Broke pretty easy. Now that you got all those O-rings off, grab your filter, take out the filter and your bag with your new O-rings. Take your big one, I always just drop it on next one, the small one. So get that one on there. Work this one on to the next, and then this groove is the one you want to go into. Make sure it's not on threads. I'm going to go ahead and take some of the oil from inside the cap, rub it on all 3 O-rings, take your new oil filter, shove it in. That part's done. Alright, now that that's had time to drain off, it'll stream go for a good while since it's not very warm. I'm going to break out the torque wrench for those that like to get technical. Mercedes says to do 30 Newton meters on the drain plugs and 25 Newton meters on the oil filters. So 30 Newton meters really isn't that much. If you want to go a little bit more, there's nothing wrong with that either. 40 Newton meters feels comfortable to you. That definitely feels better to me. So, just that little extra reassurance. Not too tight. Don't go too crazy with it and cause issues. Now that you've got the oil cleaned up, go ahead and get back under the hood. Alright, now that we got the vehicle back down, we can go ahead and put this oil filter back in. Pretty straightforward. And then probably break out the torque wrench for this too, just for those that like to be technical. So the cap says 25 Newton meters. It's really not tight, and it's better to do it, you know, just at right when it touches. The O-ring does a great job of sealing the cap. As you can see, really not tight at all. But I've never had one leak doing it at a standard tightness. So avoid over tightening that. Go ahead and put your airbox back in place. In the back there you got these 2 grooves that go on those. Just line those up like so. Just let it rest in place here. Grab your flathead screwdriver. Be sure to tighten the intake tube back on. Get your battery jump terminal back in place. Grab your oil filler neck. Get that back in place. And then, like I said, if you don't have the convenience of an oil on tap, you just need 12 quart jugs. It takes exactly 12 quarts in this 651 4-cylinder diesel. So I'll go ahead and set my gun to 12. Right at 12 quarts. I like to clean the seal off a little bit. Go ahead and get your cap back in place. Put this back on. Usually click that down first. Click the box in. And just like that, that's how you do the oil change on the OM651 4-cylinder diesel engine. If you've liked this video and want to see more, please go ahead, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment any suggestions you have down below. This is a oil filter that's out of a different engine that I'm doing the oil change on. But it conveniently came in before I finished editing the other oil change video that this will be included in. As you can see, this is an aftermarket filter, and this is why I recommend OEM ones, as it's way collapsed in on itself. There's an obvious difference between an OEM, seen on the right, and that aftermarket parts store filter on the left.